Hello, everyone. I think we all know this gentleman, or at least I know this gentleman. I think I know this gentleman. You are
Randall Daniel.
Randall Daniel. So I thought I would start with the lovable softball question of what is your libertarian story? Because it's kind of funny. We all have known you so long that it's like getting back to basics. I thought would be interesting. How did you get into libertarianism?
Well, there's the philosophy, and then there's the party.
Right.
My first introduction to the philosophy actually comes from like Henry David Thoreau and writings about self-reliance and nature. Reading in middle school Civil Disobedience, which I wholeheartedly accept the model that government which governs least governs best is the opening line of Civil Disobedience, and that was one of my first introductions to the philosophy.
Right. That's a great start.
Well, I didn't really take it wholeheartedly for the start there. Also, the follow-up line is where I'm at now. But let's see, it's but it is truly that government which governs not at all that truly governs best. So that's the other half of the quote. Though I probably butchered it because I don't always follow up with the second half. But
right.
That was kind of my first introduction to libertarianism as a philosophy. Is Thoreau, which a lot of people say they start with Ron Paul or Gary Johnson, but my start was an 1850s author.
Makes sense to me, man.
Yeah.
So it's not like you running for office, which is what we're going to talk about tonight primarily. But it's not like you running for office is your first kind of political move. You've been doing other things. So why don't you get people up to speed with some of the stuff you've done the past few years, some of the stuff you've been involved with?
Well, I first got involved with the party 2 years ago, actually in early July of 2018. I'd gone to a couple D's and R's meetings in my county, but failing that there wasn't a Libertarian Party in my county, I ended up going to my district Libertarian Party meeting, which was in Bowling Green, over 100 miles away. My girlfriend, who you guys all know pretty well, is really supportive of me. She's, I've been talking for a while, like,
or at least tolerates.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking to her for a while about going to a Libertarian Party meeting because, philosophically, I've always aligned with that party, but at that point, I was actually registered otherwise. Unfortunately, yeah, we all make mistakes, but in order to really participate,
which kind of goes back to why governments that govern least govern best.
Yeah,
distribute the mistakes, learn from each other.
Yeah. But in order to really participate in Bullitt County politics, you kind of have to be registered with a particular party. Otherwise, the election's determined during the primary.
Right.
Man, that glare is still getting to me. I'm going to have to look down in order to keep it away. But can you see if the chat, can you see if the people in the chat want me to no glare or to look down the whole time?
Who in the chat would like for Randall to just stay distracted by the glare for like the next 30 minutes instead of talking about stuff? Takers? Yeah, it happens, man. We didn't leave them off it if it makes you more comfortable. I'll read you anything that comes up.
Well, I'm banned from Facebook, so I can't see what pops up in the chat anyway.
Well, you can if I do that.
Oh, okay. But I also look better.
That's James Toller saying, "Just wave, damn it."
Yeah. Well, I think I look better without the glasses anyway because I can't see myself as well. So that boosts my confidence right there.
There you go. By the way, there's a comments tab where you can see comments from both from Facebook and YouTube, but that would require you put your glasses back on. So just skip it.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately I got involved with the party because the D's and the R's, they didn't really fulfill the need of
right
issues going on here in my county. The R's are in power. The R's are the ones who most aligned with me. politically out of the two. But anytime you have a monopoly in politics, regardless of the party which holds that monopoly, it's not a healthy ecosystem. And
Right.
so with the failings of the Democratic Party of Bullitt County not being an actual contender to the Republican Party of Bullitt County, it prompted me to found the Libertarian Party of Bullitt County. And
Right.
the fact that 2 years later, I'm now running for office in my county for a state representative spot, and there is no Democrat in the race. In fact, there hasn't been a Democrat in that race for a couple cycles now. It's just me
Yay.
and the incumbent Republican.
Excellent. So that's we always love two-way races. When there's the libertarian involved. So that's awesome. But you're also helping out Brad Barron.
Yeah, I've been involved with both Brad Barron's campaign and this Robert Perry fellow.
Who?
Yeah. But I don't know. I just try to make myself available to help any of our libertarian candidates that I can. And while I'm limited in my bandwidth and ability to do so, at least I can be, a resource to a few of them as far as my arms can reach.
Right.
Brad.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say that, the fact that I'm working with Brad gets a lot of attention because he is our highest ticket in the state of Kentucky, aside from our presidential ticket. But, I also try to help out, our more local races, such as myself and Jacob Clark and Mitch Rushing. And I've got the rare privilege to run beside them as, Jacob Clark is also running in Hardin County, which I'm running in a split district. And Mitch Rushing is running also in Bullitt. So I get to stand next to both of them as a candidate, and it's a privilege. It's an honor.
Yeah, that's awesome. So since you were already doing so much, what made you go, well, dang it, I'm bored. I want to add something else. I think I'll be a candidate. How did that happen?
Well, I was at the Capitol anyway, and a lot of the candidates were filing. Everybody else was in their nice, ties and shirts, and I was there to take photos of the other candidates. But talking with some of the people there was a cannabis rally going on, and a lot of the people that organized that event were from Bullitt County, and they are people who I'd been, friendly with and working with for several years, and trying to make sure that they had a platform, that they had, the ability to talk at county meetings, that they had people willing to listen to them. And, I'd been trying for a while to get somebody to push back so that we would have, pro-cannabis or pro-property rights, some limited government types running in my county. And ultimately, it was a failure to recruit somebody better looking than myself. Is why I ended up running. It would be great if I was, mid 30s, to late 40s, and wife, kids, and a picket fence, and look like Mitt Romney or something like. Yeah, that'd be.
I thought you were going to go Mitch Rushing.
Yes, I think that Mitch is a great candidate, and him and Jacob Clark.
Yeah.
They have like this amazing family aesthetic, and it's not just a facade. They're true family men, and sure they've got 20 years of my senior, but they really inspire me to be the sort of man that both of them are. They're better fathers than they are candidates, and they're some of the best candidates I've ever seen.
That's awesome. But you mentioned property rights, and that reminded me of something you were involved with politically before too. You didn't mention the Save Burnham project.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different little groups involved. The whole Save Bernheim deal. You get Bernheim itself, as well as those homeowners that are affected. And while I don't have a whole lot of interaction with with Bernheim, I've really done a lot in working with those homeowners. I'd like to do a lot more, and to pass legislation to protect people from eminent domain for corporate subsidy, which is it's just disgusting that our county government, that our state government would take someone's home, take someone's farm, and essentially give it away to a corporate interest so that they can increase property taxes. So
Right.
I've been involved in that. Miss Allen has been great at teaching me about what's going on and keeping me up to date on what's going on. But unfortunately, it's just such a monumental thing, such a mountain to climb, that it's going to take a lifetime of me fielding candidates and building infrastructure so that we can get some amendments to our state constitution to protect people from eminent domain for corporate subsidy.
Well, I was going to ask you what sorts of things you wanted to impact in Frankfurt. So that's a solid number one. What else do you have in mind?
Well, I mean, a lot of it's just going to be the same old, same old. Candidates like to run on things like transparency and accountability and fiscal responsibility and hot issues like ending qualified immunity and, ending the prohibition of cannabis. And all of those sound great to me. I'll take any and every victory we can get to limit the size and scope and impact of government. We'll start walking towards that very minimal, I mean, very, very minimal government. And we'll see if we can do away with all of it or what we really need to do. But we can't really make that determination right now because
I can't wait for the day for our differences between you and I on exactly how small government should be to matter.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Like right now we've got at least, we have orders of magnitude more government than we need. And we can agree on that.
Absolutely. So where are you at with your campaign? Because you've put off coming on the show several times because you were busy raising $100,000 for Brad, and you were busy with going to the national convention and one excuse after the other. So now that we're past those things, where are you at with your campaign?
Well, I do have yard signs printed, which is something that I've got up on a lot of the other libertarians running, unfortunately. And I've got about 100 of them in the ground. I'd like to have 1,000 by November.
Right.
I'm starting to get more materials and things like that printed, and I'm starting to fundraise a little bit, asking friends and family to, help in that endeavor of buying yard signs and such. But
well, if somebody in your district wants a yard sign, how do they get a yard sign?
Oh, they can call me if they want. 502-601-1973. That's my phone number.
There you go.
I'm happy to give that out. Like I said earlier, I'm banned from Facebook, so there goes my ability to use Facebook as a platform.
Right. So if you want a yard sign or for a good time, no.
But I guess I should probably tell people how I got banned from Facebook since I've brought it now 3 times. So due to COVID-19, they're not allowing an appeal. So I've been banned for 30 days without any sort of timeline to understand how long I'm going to be banned for. But Facebook flagged me as a person of political advocacy that was undesirable to their platform based on having a group page with 0 members other than myself, no photos, no posts, and the name of the group just so happened to be Big Igloo because I had made a group as a placeholder and I put something that I thought was funny as the name of the group. And the reason why I did that is because, well, if I needed a group page later on for a particular purpose, I would already have one, just click, change name, and purposed. And so every once in a while I'll make a group for politics or from a hobby or some sort of interest thing. And Big Igloo is apparently enough to get you not only banned, but IP banned. If I make a new account and I log in on either my cell phone or laptop, that account will immediately be banned.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Big Igloo is a reference or is construed as a reference to Boogaloos.
Yeah.
Book Boy. It's just for any viewer who doesn't get that. And you and I know Boog Boys.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the whole. It's like the antithesis of Antifa. You know, it's.
Right.
But in a lot of ways, there's no physical. This is that which is. You know.
It's not like you sign up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like going to lpky.org and going over to the sign up tab and paying dues and becoming a libertarian.
You left out a step.
Changing your voter registration?
I hereby certify that I do not believe in or advocate the initiation of force as a means of achieving social, economic, or political goals. I love that step.
Yeah. It's a good step.
It's a good step.
But those are the three. In order to become a voting member, you need to change your registration to libertarian, sign the pledge, and then pay $35 of dues annually to our state party. You can also become a national member. It comes with its own perks, with potentially being a national delegate, getting to have a say on.
You can get a shiny pen.
Other side.
Yeah, that's a lot trickier than people think.
Yeah, the reversed axis thing is. It's funny because like my face will itch on one side, and I'll scratch the wrong side, and then I'll have to touch my face again on camera because I scratched the wrong side.
You know, I've not caught on for like months, and then watching you struggle before we went live, I suddenly realized you can look for like asymmetric cues. Like I want to point at Randall. The pen is on the side of my body that Randall is, so I point at the pen. I still didn't get the height right, but So there we go. And there's your tip for today.
I've never really been one good with height. You know, I'm a bit vertically challenged, so.
Well, you look taller than me now.
Yeah, that's because I had to adjust the webcam so that in theory we could cut out some glare. But see,
right. So anyway, so signs, anything else? Bumper stickers?
Yeah.
Do you have a website yet?
Bumper sticker.
Do you have a website yet?
Unfortunately, I don't. Kyle O'Donnell has graciously offered to put up a website for me, and all he needs is a bio. But unfortunately, I write about myself like a refrigerator repair manual. So anytime I start, jotting down like, oh, this is who Randall Daniel is, somewhere I just start talking about Freon and an air compressor. I don't know. It's just
Randall Daniel, sex, male, birth date. Yeah.
June 15th, 1993.
And now you know.
I'm going to end up crossing myself. Joe Hunter's going to give me crap for like, dude, just say your social security and let everybody just open up a credit card in your name. But I guess that goes back to the little transparency thing. I don't really mind too much if people have my cell phone number or things like that. I mean, if you want to contact me, just come on over.
Yeah. I like this. Joe says we're called the Baja Fort Fiesta now.
Immediately after they Facebook did the big ban on the Boog Boys, they started going by the CNN news crew. Like so.
Yeah. We learned that at National.
Yeah. Well, I figured you knew, but the people watching may not have.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I forgot people are watching.
In theory, right? We got
theory.
James Toller, and I don't know, hopefully like 2,000-3,000 other people.
Yeah, something like that. So, what else are you going to do between now and the election?
Well, I would like to ideally knock every door in my district. I've been thinking about doing some cardio, and that sure beats a gym membership, right?
There you go.
The downside is we are still in the middle of a lockdown. The pandemic part's questionable, but the lockdown part is certain.
Right.
But it's a little socially taboo to knock on doors. So I'll wait until we see, how the climate clears up politically on that. One thing that I have been doing is my parents, they have a farm, and they sell a lot of corn to deer hunters and to other farmers, people who need feed for their chickens, their pigs, and whatnot. And they have given away most of the signs and things like that I have out so far. People come down there, they get a bag of corn. It might just happen to be stamped, vote Randall Daniel, House District 26. They sell several 100,000 bags of corn every year, and it's within my district. So that's a lot of voters.
James, let us know how that goes. James says he's knocking anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Joe wants to shoot rubber pellets at the door and yell through a megaphone.
We're not the Louisville police.
There you go.
You see that video of that individual who's on their front porch that got shot by cops in Louisville? Rubber bullet.
I didn't realize that was in Louisville.
Yeah, I was pretty certain there was Eastern Parkway that occurred. I mean, I may be wrong, but
yeah, I've seen the video. And I mean, there was a
Parkway to me, but usually when I'm walking that strip of the road, I'm not paying too much attention to the houses, more so about the cars that might hit you.
There's something I haven't really heard a public admission of, but I was reading basically a decision by a Colorado judge in regards to banning the use of tear gas and rubber bullets. Mm-hmm. And one of the things the judge referenced was the permanent partial blindness on people, due to the rubber bullets, because, if you can put your eye out with a Red Ryder, you can certainly put your eye out with a rubber bullet.
Oh yeah.
So there are people out there, and I mean, if you watch some of these protests, I mean, there's been quite a lot of people go to these protests just kind of running around with cell phones. But like one of the first ones I watched, they shot basically his pants with a rubber bullet. Made a hole in his pants, didn't even hit his leg. He wasn't that upset about it. Other than he's like, why are they even shooting at me? I'm way over here.
Yeah.
And he notices, oh man, that one's like targeting me. He wants to get me. But it's like, not doing anything, just there. And I noticed this weekend there's a black militia group that's going to be doing a thing in Louisville, and I noticed in the newspaper the word black was capitalized, but they were also emphasizing that there's no need to fear the black militia plans. It's like, well, first of all, if you tell me there's a group that has plans, I'm going to be paranoid about it at the very least. So, I just feel like the headline of that article is just set up to make people afraid of this. And I thought it was really interesting. While we were at National, we got to listen to a speech by, is it Maj, M-A-J?
I don't know how to spell. I'm from Bullitt County.
I think it's like Maj Tour or something like that. But yeah. He's the founder of Black Guns Matter. Yeah. And I actually like took a couple of screenshots because there were people on Facebook like overreacting to this, and one of them was actually from your county, man. Responded with, I would like to see them come try this in Bullitt County. And I'm like, really? Yeah. And I mean, that's the one where the hairs on my neck stuck up a little, because yeah, there's been plenty of people not too happy about our 2A rallies. So, some of this I can just, I saw some negative responses, some angry responses. I can mark some of it up to that. But nobody would have said, I would like to come see them come try this in Bullitt County.
Yeah, you should never welcome violence. I mean, like never be
Well,
afraid of it, but you know, it's like the whole Boogaloo thing, right? So like
right.
it's a half-hearted but dead. It's a very serious thing, you know. Like people joke about it, but you know, one of my greatest fears is that we are going to have a violent revolution again at some point in the United States history.
Well,
Um,
explain what the Boog Boys are.
it's well, I mean, I don't think that's like, you know, like it's different per person, you know. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a Boog boy, but
Right.
you know, it's the basic idea is to raise awareness of the social tensions that are occurring here in America. Uh,
Right.
it's a joke, like the Boogaloo, you know, it's like the boogeyman, you know. But there is some serious social, economic, and political tensions here in America right now, and it's just a way of highlighting that so that we can talk about it and address it. Um,
Right.
you know, and when somebody's like, I'd like to see them try that in Bullitt County, well, that's scary because I don't want to see anybody. I mean, I wish we didn't have to do these protests. I don't know if we do have to do certain protests,
Right.
but you know, I'm all for peace and prosperity.
There you go.
Politics is it's an evil. I wish we didn't have to do it. I wish everybody could just live peacefully by ourselves or in the communities and with the families that we see fit. But unfortunately, as we band in bigger and bigger groups, and we will inevitably infight, and
Right.
that's where we're at.
I got to thinking about the uh, black militia though, and I watched part of the video, and he was talking about black boots, black pants, black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't actually say black skin, which kind of made me wonder. It's like, you know, are Caucasians welcome? I kind of wonder how that would go. They might be. I mean, he didn't really mention it.
Well, I'm got
Um,
black shirt on right now and a black undershirt and black pants.
right.
I mean, I dress in a lot of black, but
But
because
you know, when you think about the actual purpose of the Second Amendment, it's to be able to defend yourself ultimately against your own government.
that's one of my favorite debates to have with Republicans.
They think it's for like shooting quail or something.
Well, they'll say that they'll concede that, you know, we have a right of right to bear arms here in America to protect ourselves against threats, foreign and domestic, right?
Right.
But the moment where I tend to disagree with them is when you ask them, at what point, what line in the sand are you allowed to use force to defend yourself against threats domestic?
Right.
We can generally agree that if somebody transgresses, you know, like comes across the ocean and comes onto our soil, that we'd be willing and able and happy to defend our soil. But when a government, which I don't have representation, but is still a domestic government, comes over onto my property and wants to do something, that's no different to me. You know, I see Louisville as a foreign government to myself. I see Shepherdsville as a foreign government to myself. I'm not within the jurisdiction of their government. I don't have representation within them. They're, you know, still American, but you know, I'm a Bullitt Countian, then I'm a Kentuckian, then I'm an American. But before any of that, I am myself, and
Mm-hmm.
my friends, and my family. You know, but usually where I divide with Republicans on the Second Amendment is at what point you can defend yourself, your life, your liberty, and your property.
Well, if you go back like 5 minutes, we were talking about people losing their eye to, as Joe Hunter pointed out, they're aiming at your shoulder and hit your eye. But so you have people, you know, being permanently partially blinded, and you know, this group pointed out that they would really only use their weapons in self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, one of these posts that weren't so positive about this, I responded with, you know, I bet these people end up not having to defend themselves. I bet they don't have tear gas used on them. I bet they don't have rubber bullets used on them. I bet they don't have unmarked vans stopping by and swooping them up.
Yeah.
And then it clicked. It's like, actually, this is what the Second Amendment's for.
Yeah.
This is it. This is a group who feels threatened and disenfranchised by our government, and they're going out and they're making a stand, and they are actually using the Second Amendment appropriately in that they're peacefully protesting, but by God, they're making sure it stays peaceful.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
appropriate.
You're a lot less likely to pick a fight with a guy who's carrying than a guy who's not.
Right.
That applies to the police too. I mean, there are some good cops out there, like our friend David Patterson. He's an amazing man, and he's, I think, one of the most important people in the Libertarian Party right now because he bridges a divide, and it is by his sheer, just fortitude that he's able to bridge that divide. I don't think that in the same position I would have the ability to stand where he does as strongly as he does. So I appreciate him greatly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I really like the idea of a officer of the law being uncomfortable with some of the things they're asked to do. And at first that sounds horrible, but it's so much better than if they're perfectly comfortable with the things they're asked to do.
Yeah.
But we as a society need to stop asking them for those things. The things that David's uncomfortable doing, that's our fault more than David's, or it's our fault as much as David's. I mean, we John Q. Public are the ones who vote for politicians who demand that of our law enforcement.
Yeah, and that's why I'd like to see myself make it to Frankfurt, so that I can change some of those laws that turn good cops in bad situations into bad cops, as they are forced to either pick their career, their family's livelihood, or their morals. And I hate to see anybody in a conundrum like that. I hate to see anybody who's, pressed to the wall, either do this thing or, cops are just as likely to be, brutalized by the government as anybody else.
Right. Well, man, I think we covered the basis. Maybe you can come back in a few weeks and let us know how things are progressing.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have a website, things like that.
Maybe with those photos from Ovens. Ovens took some awesome photos of you at National.
Yeah, well, good photographer. I can't say much about the individual in the photo, but they came out pretty good, so I'm happy about it.
Wait till you see them, guys. These are some awesome photos. Ovens is magic. Like I went back and I'm like, is it too late for you to like make people look pretty? And she's like, no. And she just put me up against a regular old wall, and she took like maybe 20 photos in like 6 seconds or something like that. I'm like, these are going to be crap. Then she's showing me these. I'm like, these are magically awesome. So then I went and got Randall. It's like, Randall, you got to do this. But we don't have them yet. We'll be sure to show them off when we get there. All right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. I really
appreciate it. And thanks for helping me. Thanks for helping Brad. Thanks for helping, Jacob and Tim and everybody else in the party, and reconstituting the 2nd district. And seems like there's something else you did, but that stuff. Thanks for all that stuff.
No thanks needed. It's out of self-preservation. It is kind of like the Ayn Randian approach. Like, you do the things you want to do because you want to do them.
That's true.
There is great benefit to me, to my future family, because I'd love to have kids someday. I'd love to have a family, and I have brothers and sisters. I have a brother and a brother-in-law and a sister, and I have parents and aunts and uncles, and I'd like the world to change. That's a simple way of putting it. And everything I do with the Libertarian Party is out of self-preservation for myself and preservation of the lifestyle that I believe that is best for my friends and family, one without government threatening them with violence.
Excellent. Thanks, sir. And quick pitch for this guy. There's also this guy. He's running for U.S. Congress for Kentucky's 2nd District. You might want to check him out sometime. Go to his website, throw some money at him. He's a good guy. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.